We're here today with Raleigh Wasser of the Atlanta Botanical Gardens, and we are going to talk about fun and cool fruit trees that you can grow with ease in your garden.
That's right.
So, Raleigh, which ones do you have on your list?
Well, number one, Paw Paw. It's actually native to the southeast.
Right.
It's called the Ozark Banana or Mississippi Banana. It has all these different names relating to the southeast. And it grows in part sun. You can grow it in full sun, but you could also find them just in the forest and natural areas in the southeast.
So, what does a pawpaw taste like? This is a pretty cool edible fruit.
It's a really cool edible fruit. The trees make really weird, wonky shaped fruit, and it tastes like a banana mixed with a mango. Very unique. And supposedly Thomas Jefferson, this was his favorite dessert.
Really?
Yeah, he liked them chilled.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Now, where do they like to grow?
Shady areas, kind of a natural, loamy soil. You don't have to do much to amend it. And they grow really easily here. In fact, they're clonal, so they actually send up new trees from their roots. Yeah, they like it here in the southeast.
Okay, well, what's our next fruit?
Fig trees.
There you go. Okay.
Let's talk about fig trees.
All right. I have so many childhood memories of being at my grandmother's place, and they've got that fig tree that's covered in figs. There's nothing more delicious than a perfectly ripe fig picked right off the bush. And also, I think the foliage is beautiful. They're worth growing for that purpose alone.
Definitely, and they grow pretty quickly. We have a tree that's, is pretty young when we put it in, and it's actually providing some shade for us over by the outdoor kitchen. There are a few cultivars. Brown turkey's a classic.
Right.
But we have L.S.U Gold, which makes a nice kind of golden fruit, and it's really large, very sweet. And Desert King, which makes really large fruits.
Many people increasingly have smaller and smaller garden spaces to grow in.
Yes.
And so finding ways that we can grow cool fruit trees that tie up, the least amount of space. There are espaliers all throughout the garden, and that's a wonderful way to say have a nice apple tree that produces fruit that is also really low profile.
Definitely. And actually, back in the really olden times, they used to grow espaliers against the wall, not only to have a low profile, but also to retain heat and have apples or whatever you're growing mature faster. So we have a lot of espaliers. The trick with any sort of any fruit in the Rosaceae family is to try to get as little water on the leaves as possible, because those trees and shrubs spread diseases really easily. So that's number one. And, keep on top of pruning it. And with any trees, especially apple trees, pear trees, you want to try to minimize the fruit load so that all the sugars coming from the tree can go to fewer fruits rather than dispersing into lots of different fruits.
Right. And so it may be that early in the season you want to remove some of the blooms, so that it's kind of like growing grapes, where we want to remove certain clusters so that we get a higher concentration of sugar in the ones that are going to make it to the finish line.
Exactly. So we have a lot of different types of apples on our espaliers here. We also have pear espaliers. You could grow them into completely different shapes. We have some that are kind of in a candelabra, some that are crisscrossing, like a lattice fence. You can grow them into so many different shapes. And you also don't even need to have your fruit tree be an espalier. We have espaliered camellias too, for example.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, and it just takes some patience. There is a bit of technique to it.
Yes.
But it's easy to learn if you're willing to put the time in.
Absolutely, and it really pays off. It's a cool look, and people ask us about them all the time.